So Sam Laporta was drafted in the second round of the draft as a tight end. And listen, it's not that uncommon that a tight end drafted early round 2 ends up being successful. What is uncommon is how quickly he has been successful. The guy's almost out of nowhere just become one of the best tight ends in football, which is, that just hardly ever happens. Usually tight ends take time to develop, not the case with Sam Laporta. So I thought it'd be a fun video to kind of break down what exactly he's doing so well for the Lions. And the question I have is just, how good is he? And also, how good can he be? Is he already elite? And how high can his ceiling be? Let's just get into it. So first, let's start off with something like this. This was very early on in his Lions career. This is week 2, and this play is just insane, quite frankly, where it's going to be zone coverage. And at first, the play itself is, normal, right? Okay, find a gap in coverage over the middle. Sure, makes sense. When this play begins, you're going to see that Laporta right here is, doing what he can. But again, the 3rd and 13, the odds of getting a first down here on this route aren't that high. But, Jared Goff says, hey, let's gain 6 yards or so. Going to be a bit of a tough catch with a Seattle player kind of right on him. But Sam Laporta makes the catch, breaks a tackle, and is able to kind of drag Bobby Wagner forward to pick up a first down. Somehow, they end up with a first down out of all of that, and it's because of the strength of Sam Laporta and what he can bring to the table. And I definitely think that's one of the real things you saw with Laporta, is getting yards that other guys just wouldn't be able to get, making those almost Rob Gronkowski-type plays at times. Like a play like this, where again, kind of a similar situation. This is actually later on in that same drive. This is now going to be a first down and 10 though. So getting the first down not quite as important on this specific play, but you'd still like to. When this play begins for the Lions, Goff looks over, sees Sam Laporta right here is, again, open, but not quite at the first down marker, which, totally fine. Let's gain 8 yards here. Makes sense. But again, watch him kind of be able to sidestep both of those defenders. Neither one is enough contact to bring him down. And he doesn't just get a first down. He gets a first down in goal after he's able to pick up a ton of those yards. So this type of stuff is really valuable for someone like Laporta. I think some people could argue, well, what about something like this? If you're giving an anti-Laporta take, here's what it would be, because that's what I try to do on these videos. I try to give both takes, the pro and the anti. So this would be the anti. It's going to be a cover 3 zone, and you have, a play action and then a receiver running over the middle. So, okay, this type of stuff can work out pretty well. Those over the middle routes can certainly get open. But usually what's going to happen is Atlanta, who was pretty good at covering last year, will get over, and kind of the players who are towards the top of the screen will move more over the middle, so that way they can cover that route. So what are the Lions doing? Well, Sam Laporta is going to run that route right there. This is good stuff by Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's a really good play caller. This isn't a play you never see. This is something that, we see, guys dial up from time to time, but still, it's a good play call because it can work. As you see when this play begins, it does work. No one really picks up Sam Laporta. A player kind of finally did, but it was very late into the play, and Laporta is wide open. Sorry for the kind of blurry still frame. It was the best I could do here. But, this is something that pretty much anytime you see a tight end this open, it's usually this route that, is getting them that open, usually. Laporta is able to make the grab and get into the end zone for a touchdown. Is it fair to say that was a good situation for Laporta? Sure. But that's not a negative, right? It's not a bad thing that he ran that route. That's a good thing that he was still able to do that. And there's still some little details he has to do on that route to really help sell it and make sure that it works. So there's certainly a lot of value still to be had in a player, in something like this. And going over here, I think suggesting that that's all Laporta does is unfair to the little subtle parts of Laporta's game. Like something like this, where it's a zone coverage play and it's more of an over-the-middle route. Again, the kind of play that if it works out, you could say, oh, Ben Johnson making magic happen. But watch how he runs this route. At the beginning, it's nothing special, just running the route kind of like, how you normally would. But here's the part where I think he does a really good job. It's just going to be a really subtle thing, but watch what he does. Watch that slight fake as though he's going up and then gets over the middle. That little fake, I think, is in many ways what can make that play work. And I think it, in many ways, is what did make that play work for Laporta. So, again, yes, to some degree, obviously having a good play caller is going to make you better. Obviously, being in a good offense is going to make you better, make you look better. But I think to suggest that he is only good because of that, or even that is a main reason why he's good, or like even a large reason why he's good, I would say is unfair. It helps him out as it would help out anyone, but he is doing a lot of, the difficult parts of these plays himself as well. And then there's also stuff like this, where I think that these things work together too. Everyone always thinks, well, how does the offensive coordinator help out the player? No one ever thinks, well, how does the player help out the offensive coordinator? But like something like this, Laporta's route, just an underneath route against zone coverage. Simple, every route needs an underneath type play, right? When it begins, Goff is going to take the snap. He's going to eventually fire this one towards Laporta. Okay. This schemed up 5 yards, which, hey, a catch in 5 yards, not the end of the world, certainly has value there. But here is the other aspect and how things can also work. Watch as Laporta is able to get around not just one, but multiple Denver players and get into the end zone for a touchdown. So having a guy who can scheme up ways to just get the ball in Laporta's hands, as I mentioned earlier, Laporta is so dangerous with the ball in his hands, it's really a match made in heaven. To be honest, if that's your negative of like, oh, he's someone who gets schemed open and then does awesome once he gets the ball in his hands, I have a really hard time viewing that as even close to a negative. So is Sam Laporta elite? Well, I guess it depends on your definition of elite, but like he's pretty clearly, I think, a top 5 tight end already. I really do think that's where he's at. And who knows, ceiling is hard, right? Because sometimes guys come into the league and are awesome, and you're like, wow, I bet they're going to get even better as they get older. And like, no, they're just awesome. Like, that's just what they are. Sometimes guys come into the league and are awesome and then continue to get better. Like, that's a thing too. So it's hard to say exactly which one Laporta will fall into, and it's kind of just a guessing game. Well, I'll give a guess, I suppose. My guess is, I think he'll get a little better, and I think he'll mostly just be a really good tight end for the next 15 years, which is, or I guess at least 10 years, which is really valuable to have and definitely worth that second-round pick. So, Lions, what a great couple picks in that second round of Brian Branch and Sam Laporta. But, those are kind of my thoughts on all of this. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.